Hi, I'm Rebecca Humphries, and one of my favorite things about Judson Baptist Church Camp is the Bible study class in the mornings. I teach the postgraduate class, so it's those young men and women who have graduated from high school who aren't quite staff age, so the 18 and 19-year-olds. And like I said, it's one of my favorite things. I want to say hi to all the students I had last year. And you know how we sign up the Sunday before class starts on Monday and you give me your name? Well, I just want to show you. I keep all those names from year to year, and I think about you often and I pray for you. So if things in your life have changed this year, if you just want to update me on what you're doing, I'm on Facebook, so message me. I'd love to hear from you. Last year in our class, I have to take off my glasses so I can see this, we studied marriage, and we studied Christian persecution and the Reformation, and we studied church, as in being an active member in your local body of believers and using your spiritual gifts in that group. And we based it on Dietrich Bonhoeffer's book, Life Together, and because church is so much more than just 2 hours on a Sunday morning. It's doing your life together with fellow believers and worshiping God as you serve Him. So my goal is 2 minutes for this lesson, and so I'm going to hurry along. I'm not going to make that goal. This year, I want to talk to you about the elderly and honoring and respecting and loving and cherishing the elderly. My study began on the elderly in our dance ministry at our church. We studied the book of Esther in January and February until quarantine in March. And not the normal Esther study where she is beautiful and there's a beauty pageant and she wins, and in God's sovereignty He uses her to save the nation of Israel. But we went a little bit deeper, and one of the parts that we focused on was the antagonist, Haman or Haman. And Haman was of the Amalekites and the Agagites. So there was a history of hatred, and I want to share that with you because Haman hated the Jewish people. Back in Deuteronomy 25, when the nation of Israel was leaving Egypt and going through the wilderness on their way to the promised land, in their caravan or their procession of people, the Amalekites attacked those at the end of the line who were lagging behind. Lagging behind is one translation, but other translations uses faint and weary and tired. So these people who were lagging behind would have been the elderly or the disabled, those who just couldn't keep up. And God said He was going to punish the Amalekites for that very reason, for attacking them. And I love that God loves the elderly. That just touched my heart. And then we see that Saul had the opportunity to destroy this group of people, and he didn't. And then the prophet stepped in. But they've made it all the way down to Haman in the book of Esther. And so there's just a very natural history of hatred of Haman for the Jewish people. But like I said, God, he saves His people. But entering COVID-19, I was already thinking about the elderly. And we know with COVID-19 that it's the elderly that are most affected and are the ones who are dying. And that just breaks my heart. Here on Plum Run, I don't know that I was supposed to mean that, but I live in a community called Plum Run, and it's this wonderful community and a sweet little church. But one of my favorite ministries that I do is visit the elderly. I treasure their wisdom. I love listening to their stories, and I learn so much from their experience. They're just amazing. And if you visit the elderly thinking you're serving God as a mission, I guarantee you're going to be blessed so much more than you ever imagined. And so, knowing how God feels about the elderly and how important they are to Him, that's my challenge to you this year, is to love and treasure, respect, honor the elderly. Visit the nursing homes when it's safe to do so. Select a few elderly in your neighborhood and get to know them. Treasure them, love on them, take them gifts and listen to them. You'll just be amazed at the blessings you get from the elderly. So, Next year at church camp, I hope to hear about your interactions with the elderly and your love for them. And until next year, I hope you are blessed by God over and over, and I hope to see you next year. Bye.